This is the most valuable information on the entire earth. It's really worth more than all the money in the world for each individual, because all the money in the world does not buy health, but wisdom and knowledge does. And how much time do people have? How much time do we have to share this information so people can get it and then utilize it?
Hello, hello, it's Mark Atwood here. The Mark Atwood Show, Adventures in a Cosmic Suit. How are you? Somebody left a comment yesterday saying you can't say how are you because the answer is always like, yeah, fine, and, you know, it's never the truth. It's still nice to ask, though, isn't it? Would you prefer I didn't give a shit how you were? I don't know. Well, I hope you're doing well. Over the last 5 years, there's been a handful of people that I've interviewed that changed my life in profound ways with the simplicity of their message. One of the reasons why I never drink water that is not structured, clean, and with electrolytes is because of the person I'm about to introduce you to. The other thing is that every single day since I met him, I have iodine and I have magnesium, which I didn't realize I was lacking in. And I've learned a huge amount from this chap, and he's not been on the show for a while, so please welcome back the amazing Ian Clark. Hello, Mr. Clark.
Hello, Mr. Atwood. How are you today?
I'm very, very well. Never called you Mr. Clark before. Well, where did we start? So I'm going to tell people who've not seen you before that I saw a video of you first with this amazing story about reversing your biological age. And I know we've said this on previous shows, but it's been a while since we've chatted. And I got in touch with you, and then you came on, and we did a lot of shows. And it was right in the middle of the medical events, and there was a lot of knowledge being shared because you've been on this amazing journey, which led you to become the founder and CEO of Activation Products, which led to you creating what I'd call fundamental health products. And the word activation, I now fully understand. I don't think I fully understood it when I first met you. And things like perfectly bioavailable magnesium or iodine that I've mentioned, and lots of other things like black cumin oil, all of these products, they are the best I've ever had. And I want to start this show by thanking you for that knowledge, because that knowledge has spread from me to thousands of people. And I know that, so many people write to me or I meet going, oh, thank you for that piece of information. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And, you know, a lot of it comes back to you. So firstly, thank you for that. And secondly, how are you doing and what are you up to?
Yeah, well, it was my pleasure to meet you 5 years ago and share. And we've shared so many very valuable pieces of info between the two of us. You've shared so much with me as well. And every single day of our lives, it just gets better and better, in spite of the fact of whatever else is going on. And on the health scene, the physical body is always going through either an upgrade or a downgrade. There's really no neutral ground. And so we choose upgrades every single day. And it got simpler and clearer and more definitive every day that goes by. And these little revelations that come up to make it much easier, less amount of time, less amount of effort, less amount of energy, less amount of money being required to do these things. And getting the definitive stack in there that just replaces all the stuff that is not at the top level has been the entire journey, and it continues. So it's been like having someone like yourself, Mark, who is like, you're like a sponge. You just receive, you're open, you're super adventurous. You know, you're willing to try anything. And it's that attitude, that willingness to do whatever it takes to serve people at the highest level, and to also have your body responding so that your vessel you're walking in, you call it the meat suit, which it is highly functional. And when something comes up, you want to find out what's up. And that's really what this is all about. And then sharing this intel with people, because that's what we do full time. Most people don't have that pleasure of being able to do that full time. So we do that for you. And it's a matter of, if I want something for me, I got to want it for you. And so it's like, we're not out to save the world, because you can't save the world.
No, I've
You can
learned
make,
that lesson. I've learned that lesson the hard way.
yeah, but we're here to make the world a better place. And that's not altruistic. It's a real statement. And we are of the earth earthy in our physical bodies. We are of the heaven heavenly in our spiritual. We're interested in the highest vibrations of everything possible, and always open to higher vibrations. And what is the best of the best? And I didn't come up with it. I can't take credit for any of it. I was shown these things, and I asked to be shown 21 years ago. In the last 21 years, I was just gradually, slowly shown higher level things as I was ready, because all that stuff was going right over my head to start with. And then I finally had the perception, the ability, the eyes to see it, the ears to hear, and then the retention of the experience. Because in the physical world, seeing is believing. I can't fake a healthy body. I just turned 67. I'm in my 68th year. That is
Whoa.
nothing. We're just getting going.
Yeah.
And so the older we get, the better we show up, the more valuable we are, because it has nothing to do with age anymore. It just has to do with how long you have been practicing the right stuff, or how long you have not been practicing the right stuff. And I'm still adding things in and getting more definitive and simpler all the time, and not allowing myself to be married to anything. Whereas, like, oh, well, I can't accept something better because that might displace what I'm already doing. No, we always want to have a displacement when it shows up, if there is something at a higher level that is easier, simpler, and more affordable. Because really, at the end of the day, you deserve to have extremely high level health. You deserve that. You deserve to have a body that's a luxury sports car that just gets better tuned all the time, and that you can enjoy your life.
Yeah. Well, it's not about how long you live; it's how well you live, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
And just
And how well you live is going to allow you to live longer,
yeah.
provided that you don't have some interrupting catastrophic thing that could happen. The chances are very low. And we're not out to get in people's faces that are doing the damage, because they are the kind of people who would take people like us out. There's no advantage to us being taken out physically. They're not going to listen. It would be like going into a warehouse where some organized criminals are killing somebody, and you walk up behind them and go, "Hey, by the way, did you know you're killing them?" They're like, "What was that? You're not smart enough to know not to come into this warehouse? You're dead. What are you doing here? Don't you know? We know. We get it. We're not out to stop anybody. We're out to start people individually to take responsibility for themselves, to have the tools, the knowledge, the wisdom, the acumen, right? The simple procedural stuff that you put into your life that supports your quality of life and your enjoyment of life, in spite of all the stinking garbage that's going on in the world around us, and the fact that we're being intentionally polluted every day, and there's this massive genocide going on. We're just not a part of that. And we can't stop what people promote in their own lives when they suck themselves into that matrix. It's not our responsibility. My responsibility is for me and for everyone who I share information with. I'm responsible to them, just like you are responsible to me, and I'm responsible to you, to share the truth, regardless of how crazy it may seem. It's not crazy, and it's, you know, the insane people think sanity is insane, so that's okay.
Yes, I know. It's a regular occurrence coming across those people. Yeah, there's. I want to keep this video on YouTube. So there's certain things that you've taught me I'm not going to talk about because I keep getting stopped for misinformation. So we're going to keep it clean in that respect. But Ian came to Boyle a while ago, must have been 18 months ago, and did something with me and Gary in the, it sounds wrong that, but it showed us something that was that's been very amusing. It involves slapping, and that has been done on a number of people since we last saw you, which is and they it's amazing how many people are either completely open-minded to it or like, what the hell? And you know, you've got to be very careful in real life who you tell this information to. And it's a lot of the supplement stuff, like that we did a show a few years ago where I drank a whole bottle of your iodine live on the show, and then I went and had to have a lie down for a few. Now, a lot of people would do that, but I did that because I knew iodine. And iodine, your iodine is just off the charts compared to the other stuff. And you know, lots of people bought it and had that. You know, it's simple things. You know, if you search for a lot of the things that you talk about, I was looking up. I think I was looking up iodine the other day, and it was like you could get. It was quite funny actually, because you can get Lugol's iodine from an agricultural supplier, 5 liters of it for €100 or something like that, and then underneath it, and it says only for animal consumption. And then you go on another website and you get a little tiny bottle like this for like 80 quid, which is crazy. You know, it's like the equivalent to €1,000 for 5 liters, and they're exactly the same product, and it's hilarious. You know, they don't make a special version for animals. It's and then
Right.
and then you read the advice, and it says, yeah, not always safe, blah blah blah. And it's amazing how just one little whisper, one little word in a sentence can just put somebody off going further down that road. And you know, with iodine in particular, I meet so many people with thyroid problems and things like that, and it's like so. And then magnesium, of course, you know, that was the other big lesson. And I was told years ago that everybody was magnesium deficient, but I didn't really take it seriously because I assumed it wasn't me. And then, you know, turns out you've done all the research. It's better if you spray it than swallow it. That's why you created that bottle. And so many other products that I know a lot of people that I've met personally since we started the podcast who've said, yeah, I've got all EV and stuff. And, you know, and it really touches me that you can have that effect with people. So yeah, it never ceases to amaze me. And the sharing of knowledge, and you know, you and I haven't chatted for quite a while because we've all been busy with things, but you know, I love those conversations that we've had talking about this new machine, that new machine, this person, that person, you know, and I can't wait to get hold of them. And I've shown you the healing center now on video where last time you were there, it was just a big empty concrete space, you know. So me and Gary consider you to be like a mentor and a friend, and yeah, it's wonderful. So it's great to have you back on the show talking about this stuff, because I'm sure there's people who watch the show now who haven't seen our videos before and might not have seen you. So do you want to talk us through what's going on with Activation Products, what's going on, what you're seeing? I'm also interested in your, you know, when we started talking, obviously the situation, global situation has just started. We're 5 years into that now. What do you know, you've got your feet on the ground with people who get your products and their health, and you're also high up in the alternative healing. I don't know using that term, but you know, the alternative healing world. What are you seeing? What's Ian's take on everything?
Well, what I have seen really explode on the scene over the last 10 years specifically is a lot of people who are very slick marketers realize that there's this massive market that they could tap into and make endless amounts of money. And so the money making driver was really the problem. And it's an invasion because there's so much misinformation, so many products that are being sold now that are mediocre at best or even harmful or have no value. And there are very few who are super effective and affordable. So your time, energy, effort, and money that you're going to invest in yourself has been diluted so heavily because of all the marketing tactics. So with AI, with all these different things, people can become more slicker marketers to know what the hooks are, because really they just want your money. They want they want to be popular and make a ton of money. The motivations are weird. So the real stuff starts to get pushed down because we are not in that mindset. We are in the mindset of creating value for that person who sincerely needs their body to be functioning at the highest level. And so getting eyeballs on the truth, getting people to be, self-motivated on, like when you get excited about something, you make your own decision, you'll stick with it. And enthusiasm is a very big thing. Getting enthusiastic about something that doesn't work, and then people find out, well, that didn't work, and then this didn't work, but I thought for sure the perceived value was there, but not the received value. So it's like the tortoise and the hare. Activation is totally the tortoise.
Yeah.
We're not the hare rushing ahead and doing all this fancy stuff. We're just on the ground, very sensible, very definitive, plodding along, knowing that eventually that's the long game, because we're here to serve people with the truth. So getting that message out there to the people who are really open to that. A lot of people just want to be sold on stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do the research, right? They don't want to really know. They just want to, fix me. Give me the magic pill. Give me the magic potion. And if something goes really wrong, then they run out and they want to get fixed by some machine rather than resetting their foundation. Because if the house is on fire, you definitely don't want to be trying to repair the house when it's on fire. And if the fire started at the foundational level, you got to go back and fix the foundation. Just like you said, the fundamental things are going back to the functional, foundational part of your health where you absolutely know that you are not heading in any direction for cardiovascular issues, for cancer, for diabetes, for Alzheimer's, for dementia, for any of those things that creep up on people over the decades and then just hit them. And I've been seeing way too many people who are getting distracted, hit the wall with these incredibly life-threatening situations that are often they're already over the threshold before they can start to do something about it. So activation is all about healthy people getting much healthier. And when people come to us with these catastrophic meltdowns where they're terminal, it's tragic. And it's because they thought they were invincible. They thought they really didn't have to worry that there was going to be some kind of a med bed or a magic pill or a potion that was going to
Mm.
fix them. And they eat whatever they want. They talk about eating good, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about these different things, but they really don't follow through. And I think that's really the thing that we want to get, give people the why, and then the what, and then the how, and then the when. Because the why is all about you.
Mm-hmm.
We're here for you. So you can get the tools, the knowledge, the wisdom, and then you can practice health with yourself. And then people see you show up. I mean, look how much you've improved, Mark. Just
Oh,
your physical presence and appearance in the last 5 years alone has been transformational.
well, it's been up and down, to be honest, because I've slipped and come back,
Yeah.
and if get back to the fundamentals has been it's a it's what's the word? It's like compound interest. You start doing something, you notice a difference straight away. Sometimes I slip back into bad habits and then I come back again. And this year's been really foundational for me, really, truly foundational because I'm a workaholic, right? So what was going on with me is that I just get up at 6 and I'd be working until midnight, past midnight, and then forget to eat and then make bad food decisions. Then and then they'd slip in. And I this year I had to go. I had to scratch. Say, right, hang on. I know all of this. What am I doing? And
Mhm.
and I own a healing center. I've got to look like I wasn't even using it. I wasn't
Mm.
really. I've got all this equipment. I wasn't using it because I was too busy.
You're busy is right. I know.
So I've
I know
learned.
it can happen.
Yeah. So for me, it's all about compartmentalizing myself and prioritizing my health. Oh, that rhymes. That's quite good. But it came back, when I sat down and actually looked at it, what I was doing in my own life, it came back to the fundamentals. And a lot of your words still go around my head. I remember there was a way you described on your journey how you would say, well, I discovered this about that, and that's off the menu. And I was like, and that off the menu line it has been beautiful for me because I'm just like looking at my food and looking at my supplements and looking at my day and going, well, that's got to go off the menu. That's Ian Clark.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So can I tell you a very quick story of what just happened recently?
please do.
This is about a colleague, a very close friend. a very dear person, loved by everyone, and she loved everyone else. She's one of the most unique people I've ever met in my life. I met her in 2018. So she was 45 at the time. She was an extremely successful entrepreneur. She had moved from China to Canada when she was young. She had $5,000 cash with her. She went and got an MBA. She built a company that was doing over 100 million a year in revenue of manufacturing goods in China, shipping them for infomercials. Very tightly connected to Kevin Harrington, always in the background, never trying to be in the foreground. Never had a boyfriend, never had a husband, never got married, never had children. And that shocked me because she was a very attractive woman, very kind, but she was a super pure soul that was focused on one thing, serving the world, bringing innovations that were just amazing. And she was building a platform that was allowing people to share, that would displace all the social platforms where everyone would be getting a value proposition for every time they shared something without having to invest money. And it was a very difficult platform to build. It took her 16 years to finish it.
Wow.
She she loved activation, loved me and the family, loved the products, and never took a product. She always went, "Oh, these are the most amazing products." She would never, ever one time take the product. And I was giving her products. She would just give them away to her friends. I said, I'm not going to give her name because I don't want to do that right now. But I would say, you absolutely need this stuff. Oh, no, no. I'm like, she would say, I'm a machine. I'm
Mm-hmm.
invincible. I
Mm-hmm.
can work around the clock. I can eat whatever I want. She never gained weight. She was one of those persons that had perfect skin, never gained weight, always had like endless energy. It was crazy. And at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, she would be up working and she would text me and I wouldn't get it till the morning. I was like, "So what's she doing?" So, anyways, I realized that she really was invincible. It appeared. And so, anyway, she was struggling with this platform. She raised about 30 million in the first round, and they had a rug pull on her. They took all her money. She just went and rebuilt it even better, stronger. It was all based on crypto. And she spent 4 years between 2021 and 2025 finishing this platform. She was like the commander general with a team in China, a team in Canada, phenomenal people. She finished it and it was ready to launch in May of 2025. I hadn't talked to her for a couple of months. She'd made some arrangements for me with different things for product, that specifically the one that we use for stimulating the body, right, with the classical Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't heard from her for about a month. And I thought, hey, she hasn't called me. She usually would text me at least. I hadn't seen her, hardly ever got to physically see her because she was so busy. But I called her on June the 10th of this year. I said, hey, how's it going? She goes, oh, Ian, I have to tell you something. I said, what's that? She goes, well, I had an operation.
Mm.
What kind of operation? She goes, well, I had a tumor that they had
Mm.
to remove out of my body. And I said, well, how did that happen? You never told me anything. She goes, I know. I didn't want to bother you.
Mm.
What do you mean, bother me? She never said once that she was ever not well. I've never seen her not well before. And I said, well, what did the operation involve? Well, she said they had to cut me open from the top above my abdomen all the way to the bottom and all the way across the side. They removed my entire large intestine. They did a total hysterectomy and they took out a 17-inch tumor out of my body. I was like, a 17-inch tumor? How do you fit that into? She's a small, petite Asian woman. He said, I was trying not to get the operation, going to acupuncture. It got to the point where the tumor was stopping her heart from functioning properly and her stomach wasn't able to digest food. 6-hour operation, life and death, totally compromised her body. I said, I've got to come and see you immediately. She goes, yeah, you do. So I went there and it was too late. She was already over the threshold. He believed that because it was full on cancer, She believed that all the cancer had been removed and that she was going to be good. And if she just started taking the products and following the protocol, she said, I'll do whatever it takes. I showed her everything that she needed to do. But I said, you've got to know what is going on in your body. You can't hope that you're not going to be, you just produced massive cancer in your system. And your body does that when you're anaerobic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're anaerobic, you're going to consume the food and turn that into cancer cells when you're producing cancer. That's how that 17-inch tumor got in there. You have to be aerobic so that when your body consumes food, your aerobic energy produces ATP. He was 24/7 full anaerobic after the operation at the same state. So no matter what you do at that point, you have to know that you're not going to be producing tumors. He started producing tumors immediately, but was and had gone to the oncology, had a scan on June 14th, ignored whatever the information was, did not. Nobody at the oncology hospital took her aside and said, hey, we found an 8.5 centimeter tumor in there. They never said that. And she never knew until July 20th. That's how long she believed that she was okay, doing all the right things. I realized that she was not. I said, you've got to take every resource you've got. You've got to get in touch with the top level clinics. The hospitals aren't going to be able to help you. She was so compromised that if she did the regular treatments, it would probably kill her in 1 or 2 days. That's how compromised she was. Did everything possible. She did get some improvement in the clinic down in Los Angeles within a week. She improved her numbers by double. But the problem is this, Mark. When there's the most sophisticated measuring devices in the world, combined by a gentleman who came from Norway. He has studied over 700,000 patients with these biofeedback technologies over the last 21 years, and he can tell you exactly where you're at. He has millions of tissue signatures for the human body that he can determine where you're at. When he measured her body, he took me aside and he said, Ian, it is not a good situation. I've never seen numbers this low and having a person still alive. She's literally day to day. I'm even very reluctant to bring her into the clinic to do the treatments. I said, please just take care of her. Do what you got to do. He said she has a 20% chance right now. I said, well, we got to get that to 40, 60, 80, 100. She's here to get a 100% chance of survival. He goes, I can only do so much. That was on July 14th that I was told that. I watched everything poured into this person's body to try to reverse it, all the latest knowledge and wisdom and understanding around how to mitigate stage 4. And she totally burnt to the ground. And she died on August the 8th on the Lionsgate portal, August the 8th. Interesting day that she left.
Yeah.
And that was the sturgeon full moon that day.
Mm-hmm.
That same day, unknown to me, a very close colleague who I'd known over the years, who's a master formulator from British Columbia, died the same day. I never found out for a week because nobody phoned me and told me because I wasn't directly in touch with them all the time on the same day. And I was like, what? Okay. That was a terrible experience. To support her to go through that fatigued me every single day. I had to go and sleep for an hour in the middle of the day, every day.
Yeah.
Just to be able to get the energy back after this incredible disappointment and tragedy of a woman who was the commanding general on a platform that will change the world. But she was the master key behind this. He was certain that she was not going to die. It wasn't until 2 days before she left that she finally realized, I am going to die. I need to do a lot of things to prepare for the legacy to carry on and go. And it was the last 2 days. So that's an experience I don't wish on anybody. I feel terrible for her. And she did not want to go. And she left. And I'm still processing it right at this moment. I'm going to Toronto this afternoon to meet with the person who's now the steward of those two companies and the steward of that platform, who also heavily invested her own money. This woman had invested 10 million of her own money into this in 16 years of her life, individually, personally. and did not see this come to fruition. So it just made me realize more and more how incredibly important you are. Everyone, and you, the person you listening, you are so important on this earth. And you can't have that 1/3 part of you remove you from the scene and interrupt your mission. This woman had an international mission that it is profound, and it will continue to be. But she was the one who would propel it forward the fastest, and now she's removed. I don't know why that's allowed to happen, but it happened. And it just made me take a whole different take. Like, let's know for sure. Where are you at? You have to know. Don't assume things. Measure it. There are measuring devices today, as you know, Mark, biofeedback devices. Pay attention to them. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I was doing the similar thing, and I've got away with it multiple times. And then earlier this year, I just happened to be in a situation where there was a blood pressure machine, and I said, "Could you just take my blood?" And then I was like, "Oh," because it was like my higher self took me there and said, "Take your blood pressure," and that changed it all. I was like, "I've really got to sort this out," and
Right.
that's what we should. But fundamentals, before you get to that point, are critical. But a lot of what I've found is that, I mean, that's a really heartbreaking story, but it should serve as a lesson to everybody watching that if you do something today, it's all about understanding the why. Because you said yourself, you can't save everybody, and since we opened this center, I was optimistically thinking, well, obviously, I mean, we've got all this great stuff. Everybody's going to flock here and get healthy. It doesn't work like that, does it? It just doesn't work like that. And it hit me that it's hit me a number of times. Unless somebody understands why they need to take iodine or go in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber or have a sauna 3 times a week, unless they understand why, it doesn't matter how many times you tell them. They might try it and then they'll just flip back to previous programming. And I'm often reminded of when I was learning to fly helicopters, and I'd already trained on fixed wing, and this guy came and gave us a safety briefing, and part of the safety briefing was showing us horrific helicopter crashes, pictures that you'd never see anywhere else, and they were horrific. And 95% of them were caused by people that had gone from fixed wing to rotary. And when they were in an emergency situation, their fixed wing training kicked in, not the rotary, and then hence helicopter crash. And it stuck with me as an analogy for the way that the cabal have programmed the human race. I mean, even this morning with my daughters, we went out to a cafe and I was explaining, look, you look good because you're 18 and 17. But if you keep eating that and keep eating that and keep eating that, it creeps up on you. And this is what will happen. And oh, thanks a lot, Dad. And I'm like, it's the arrogance of youth, isn't it? And I said, well, look, you've seen me go in and out of health. And, I think I'm finally on the right track personally, because the programming kicks in. You think, oh, I'll just have a piece of that, or I'll just have a biscuit, and then boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, you're back in the same old problem. And and that invincibility that you mentioned is a really important thing for people to realize, because the kind of people that we see coming through our doors are people that already know a lot and want to maintain their health, or tragically they've been given a terminal diagnosis, or they've got nowhere else to go, and when it's too late. Just looking at them. And in a way, they might have given up, or they might have had a contract that they've got to leave, spiritual contract. I don't know, but it's still a noble endeavor, though, to try to assist people to get into the best possible condition they can be in, so they can enjoy their life. And that's when you're in the middle of a continuing psychological operation against your entire race. It's not always that easy. So is it worth you going back for the viewers to say, here I was, Ian Clark, 47 years old, standard American diet, dying basically. And
Mhm.
then, because that's an amazing, your story is after that story, your story is actually a really positive, amazing story. Do you want to share that for people, if you don't mind repeating it for those who might have heard it before?
Yeah, for sure. Well, when I was just turning 46, I didn't know that I was really sick. I just knew that I was really out of shape. And my oldest son was bothering me about that and saying, "Hey, Dad, you know, you used to be in top shape. Why are you in this condition?" So I said, "Well, let's do take a picture, and I'll get in shape." So I had this picture taken. When I saw the picture on the computer screen, I was so shocked. This is 2004. I buried the picture. I was like, "Oh, I don't even know who that guy is." Wow, because the camera's merciless. Whereas a mirror, I can look at a mirror and tell myself how good I am. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So within that year, all of a sudden, all these major health issues showed up. I started forming a tumor in the perineum of my body, which is right between the legs, right near the prostate, attached to the colon. And that was terrifying. I was like, what is that doing there? Then I find out that that will kill me, according to the medical world, if I don't have it removed. And I looked at the operations to have it removed, and I thought, man, right there, that's where all the male plumbing is. I don't want anybody touching me there. Why do I have this? And no doctor could tell me why. They just said this is very common. We do thousands of these procedures every year in Canada, right?
Mm.
And I was living in Toronto, and it just terrified me because I remember my two uncles dying 2 days apart in 1978. Both were diagnosed within a year of terminal cancers. They did everything they were told by the doctors, and they died 2 days apart at 51 and 54 years old. And my oldest brother, who was a medical doctor for 30 years, told me that it was genetic predisposition. It was just the hand of cards I was dealt. I was going to have to just accept it and deal with it. And plus, I had major heart disease symptoms that came up. Weird stuff where my heart would stop for 3 seconds at a time, like
Wow.
pound really fast, stop, like, and I'm waiting for my heart to start, and then it would pound into gear again. And it was doing that sometimes like 3 times a week.
Wow.
Anyway,
Mm.
what I realized is that obviously I did not know what I was doing. I had major problems with my health. It was 2004, 2005. Surely it's not the dark ages of 1978 when my uncles died, but I
Mm.
found out that it was the same dark ages.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up in the middle of all that chaos, and I knew in my mind, in my heart, in my gut that there were people on this earth who had the top level knowledge on how to naturally support the body to be healthy, and that I needed to be led to them. So when I realized that, I also realized that to go to try to find those people is mission impossible. I had about a 36-month window based on the prognosis at that time to get these things fixed, or I was going to be exited. And I thought, how did the last day of my life show up at 49 when I'm 46? What is it doing there? We're supposed to live at least at that time in my mind, at least to 70, 80. Come on. And it didn't make any sense. So I thought, well, how do I get that last day that's looking at me 36 months from now moved away, moved out? And I asked out loud a spiritual prayer. I asked to be led. I'm just simply asking, I'm not demanding, I'm asking to be led to people who have the highest level knowledge on the earth. I cannot find them. If I could be led to them, that would be great. And if I am, and I have eyes to see them and ears to hear what they say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. If I'm shown something, even if it seems totally crazy, I will do whatever it takes, whether even if I have to suffer or have a whole bunch of fun or spend a bunch of money I don't have or spend time, I'm open. And it was as if I heard a voice. I didn't hear a voice, but it was like a voice kind of putting a thought in my mind.
Mm.
Okay, we'll see about this. We'll see if you're willing to do what you say you're willing to do. And that's how the journey started. It was very slow. I just started meeting enough people soon enough that I got that 36 months turned into 60 months, a bigger bandwidth. It took 7 years for my body to finally eliminate that tumor. And that tumor had shown up to help me,
Mm-hmm.
to let me know, hey, dude, you're totally mismanaging your body. Your body's forming a great big garbage bag because you're not detoxing at all. You need to learn to detox. You're full of heavy metals. You're full of fungal infections. You're full of yeast overgrowth. You're eating all the wrong food. You're not hydrating. You're not sleeping properly. You're not managing stress. You're arrogant. You're a know-it-all. You think you're invincible. You're not. Okay, so wake up. And boy, did that wake me up. And I hit the ground with the thought. I still go through humbling things all the time because there's areas that we're arrogant that we don't realize. And those areas have to be burnt out. So it's this whole purgatory thing. You know, the Catholic Church talks about going to purgatory and paying your way out with your relatives. No, this is purgatory. We're purging now of all the spiritual deception, all the mental, emotional, and physical deception. And it's a constant replacing of the lies with the truth. And so my body just got better and better and better. And every year I would get another few years. And every year. So now I don't have any idea how many years are in the front based on a normal trajectory, but it's extremely extensive. And I'm healthier than I've ever been in my life. Are there still things that I'm paying attention to? Yes. Because the number one killer is cardiovascular, by far. Number two killer is cancer. Number three killer is misdiagnosis and mistreatment by the medical associations. Number four, lower like lung disease and lower respiratory infections. Number five, blood sugar problems, diabetes, whatever. Then you got your Alzheimer's, dementia that's all tied into that. So I've had to learn all the things. Okay, how do we deal with all those things to make sure that we know that we know that we know that I know that these things are being managed? Any slight symptom shows up, that is just showing an underlying root cause that hasn't been dealt with. That's all it is. Movement, you know, the proper kind of exercise, the proper formats of eating. How much carbs are you going to take? What kind of carbs are you eating? Are they high glycemic, low glycemic? What about proteins? What about different types of proteins? What are the ones that are good? What are the ones that are not? What kind of fat is right? What's the bad fats? What's the good fats? All the visceral fat has gone out of my body. Mark, the last couple of years, totally transformational. I've never felt better in my life, and I don't have any cravings. I can eat the stuff that I know that I want, and my body wants it. I don't have to tell my body what to eat. It wants the good stuff. So you go through these transformational upgrades to become the person that your body wants to be, and then your body rewards you. So I think we're just getting started. How old are you right now, Mark?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I had to think about that. 56.
56, right. So just in relation to air we breathed, you know, I breathe like 260 million liters of air. You breathe 40 million liters less than me right now. Okay. And so I've got 40 million liters more air in my body that had pollution in it than you did. So I have to pay attention more to that. So I had to detox all that out, you know, with the blood production, the electrolytes, you know, all the different detox things that are gentle. I don't like the radical parasite stuff. If you create a good environment, the parasites will leave. The parasites are there because you don't have a good environment, and they will leave. If you kill them and tell them to leave and you kick their butt, they'll kick your butt. You got to create the environment to get them out. They're there to tell you, hey, by the way, I'm here to clean up your mess, but I'm going to crap all your mess right back into you. And then you could get cancer and heart disease and Alzheimer's and dementia. Yeah. So let's just create a good environment. So that's what activation was all about. All these things showed up. It was all functional, foundational detoxification in a very gentle way, turning these poisons into inert matter so they go gently. And the environment doesn't allow parasites to hang out. They don't even want to hang out because they don't have any reason to hang out. It's like they're going to go find somebody else, some other party to join, right? So having that kind of stuff in your portfolio where your body is now desiring the good stuff. Because when our body desires the bad stuff, we have to take command and say, no, 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 right? Whereas now my body is saying, this is what I want. This is what I love. This is what makes me feel great. And my body totally dialed in, you know, and I'm 5 foot, almost 5'11" in height. And I'm a very small frame. My body went down to about 143 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms, whatever that is. Maybe, what is it, 50 something? I should know because I'm a Canadian, but I'm not metric enough. So But the point is, my body went there and it didn't lose another pound and it didn't gain another pound. It just went right there. It's like, oh, that's where my body wants to be.
65 kilograms.
Okay. Yeah. And everybody, oh, that's pretty small. No, it's based upon my frame size. You measure with your elbows. I have a small frame. I have very small wrists, right? I'm not a big, robust person. So my body decided I'm not into losing weight or gaining weight. No interest at all. I'm interested in bone density, proper muscle mass, the right kind of fat, the right amount, the right bodily fluids, all that stuff. That your body knows it. You are so intelligent. Your body is so super intelligent, and it's the quantum computer that needs you got to put inputs. Just like any computer, you got to get on the keyboard and put inputs. Otherwise, it's not going to perform. And it might get a virus in the program. You don't want that. So, telling the body what we've learned, and now we're on this exponential curve of simplicity. So I've finally at the place. I had to wait all these years. I'm starting to do these master classes that are just simple, and people can access them. They just do a very affordable membership, and they get access to all the stuff that people would charge tens of thousands of dollars for.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway, like,
You
let's get it out there.
You've just we can hear you, but your image is frozen. So I'm just gonna pause it.
We're still,
Yes.
yeah, the master classes are something that when I've gone out to learn from others who have great intel, I've over the years paid tens of thousands of dollars to learn. And what I realized is that, I mean, that's all fine. We invested over $35 million that we had earned back into learning, setting up proper facilities for manufacturing definitive products, learning how to educate properly. And now I want all this information to get out as economically as possible because this is the most valuable information on the entire earth. It's really worth more than all the money in the world for each individual because all the money in the world does not buy health, but wisdom and knowledge does. And how much time do people have? How much time do we have to share this information so people can get it and then utilize it? It's not like, well, if I tell everybody everything, how am I going to make money? Are you kidding? This has nothing to do with making money. This is to do with generating value for every individual. And that value generation keeps circulating. Money is all about an entity that gives you energy that you breathe in and breathe it out immediately. You breathe it in and breathe it out. And when you learn to breathe it in and breathe it out right away and not try to store it up in some high pressure tank to be rich, you can actually flow the value and then that tank, then you get 1,000 breaths a day to breathe in and breathe out again. And money is that entity watching to see who it can serve at the highest level, who is willing to breathe it in and breathe it out. And that's the flow at this point. So this valuable information that you share, that I share, is just like, let's just get it out there to as many people as possible so they can enrich their lives and have a much higher quality experience in their life, much higher quality fulfilled life. And that's what this is all about.
Well, if I go back to some of our earlier videos, I remember saying, Ian, get all your stuff down of it, and now you've done it, which is brilliant. So there's a link on the screen and a link below this video, guys, if you want to go and get this. This is the stuff that's in the VIP vault on the website, isn't it?
Yeah, so we had to create a private section of our website so that we can actually share things that we can't talk about just publicly. So people get a membership, it's super affordable, and they're able to get in and get access to literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of value that they would otherwise pay for pennies. And
Yeah.
that's our thing. And to get people to invest their time, energy, effort, and resources so they get the maximum return in their investment without having to take a shortcut and really getting the results they're looking for because people just want to be healthy. And you can't be really happy unless you're actually physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy.
Yep.
So getting people happy is what this is all about in every category.
Yep. It's mind-blowing how much happier and calmer I am because of this the health part of this journey for me. It's been extraordinary. And you guys watching, you've seen Ian before, you know how good he is. Go and access this information. I'm going to join that myself because it's you think you know it all, but the great thing about having a business partner who's as fit and healthy as Gary is is like, oh no, I've got more work to do. But you know, and I think a big problem, a big issue for a lot of people. There's a reason why I wanted you to tell your story for those that hadn't heard it, because you know there is this kind of fatalism program that is running in people. And you mentioned it yourself earlier when you were talking about your uncles, and it's all genetically. The amount of times I hear that, oh, it's in my genes, I'm done, and I'm like, no, it isn't. It's in your food. It's in your water. It's so simple, but the program's so powerful. How do you? A lot of it is about repetition as well, especially for all of us. You know, I used to teach the law of I do teach the law of attraction to people. It's about repetition, 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 because the programming that has programmed you into becoming this sick, poorly depleted version of yourself that you're not supposed to be is using repetition from the before you're born to get these programs in. So how do you get over that, Ian? I mean, do you ever slip off the wagon?
Oh, I've had all kinds of, it's like that ebb and flow of things where where I know certain things and I've done them, I got the results, and then they might slip off a little bit and they might be replaced with something better as a result. But the trajectory has always been that gentle incline, not this steep, rock climbing of the face, because that doesn't work. That's where people get turned off, or they get injured, or they have a healing crisis and they're turned off. So what you just said about the law of attraction, we say the words I am about ourselves all the time. I am this, I am that. I am energized. I am feeling absolutely amazing. I am wealthy, not talking about money. I am wise. I am informed. I am conscious. I am love. The one thing that I learned to say is I am perfectly healthy, because you, Mark, are perfectly healthy. How do you know that? Because you, Mark, the being, the soul, right? The invisible you that looks like you're 21 years old at all times,
Yeah, I
is
like him.
perfectly.
I like him.
Yeah, that's right. You are perfectly healthy.
Mm.
Now, if your body, which is not you, but it's a part of you that you're living in, if your body starts showing symptoms of ill health, that does not mean that you are not perfectly healthy. You are always perfectly healthy. So when you say about yourself, I am, with all these very true, realistic, super positive things, it's not about positive thinking, it's realistic. Your body then will resonate to that. Where if you're told from a doctor, you have such and such, and then you say, I have, whoa, come on, man. No
Mhm.
way. That's your body that is reacting, trying to tell you, hey, Mark, I need help. Hey, Ian, I need help here. Give me some help. You, Ian, are perfectly healthy. And your body is like, I want to be perfectly healthy like you are. And so it's the manifestation of words. You're encouraging yourself. And if you're over the threshold and your body's going to die, you are still perfectly healthy in spite of that, because you are a soul being who cannot get all these names of all these stupid diseases. It's not possible, because that only the body can get that. So having your body measure up and level up to who you are. It's like when I looked at my picture at 46 years old, I was so disgusted. It went onto a hard drive and I didn't let anybody see it. And I said, I'm never going to show anybody that picture. I don't even know who that guy is, but I'm buried in there somewhere. That ain't me. And within just 4 or 5 years, I showed up now looking more like myself. And then I was like, I got to go find that picture. When I had to go and literally dig an old hard drive out of the defunct computer, hook it up to a better computer to go and search for that picture. And when I saw it, I was twice as shocked as the first time I saw it. And I was like, whoa, that's ridiculous. Like,
Where is that
before.
picture? I used to have that picture somewhere. I can't find it.
Well, I could share it with you.
Yeah, you got to see this. I remember what
Yeah,
it looked like, and I can't. But I thought it was on my computer, but I can't find it.
yeah. Well, I'll just send it to you by
I think.
text.
Can I tell your marketing team? Tell them to put that picture on this landing page for the vault.
Yeah, I think they might have it in there somewhere.
I can't
Um,
see it.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, this it should be, but a lot of people have before and after pictures. I just look like an unhealthy middle-aged
Yeah,
so-called at the time,
but that's what
right?
people need to see it. They relate to it, because it's about hope, not hopium, hope. You can change your life very easily if you just apply some basic principles. I mean, talking of basic principles, let's just talk through Ian's day. What do you do first thing in the morning? What do you eat? What do you drink? What are you doing for yourself? Just general picture.
Right. Well, the very first thing that I've learned to do over the years is because your body's repairing itself all night and doing different detox, you should flush your system.
Hmm.
So I get 1 liter of purified, good quality structured water, and I add 1 teaspoon of the Trace Restore, which is a super purified, concentrated ocean mineral liquid. I put 1 teaspoon in there and I down that liter. Now, you don't have to guzzle it right away, but I down it within 10 minutes. I got that liter in my system. Now I've got the full electrolytes for the day because I've already done the whole year of the high concentrated sea minerals. Yeah, it's that one in the
Yeah,
blue and white bottle there.
Trace.
Yep, Trace. And we're renaming that Restore so it doesn't get mixed up with another company called Trace, which is not purified, which is not at this level of quality. But anyway, that goes in, and usually within 30 minutes to an hour, my body fully flushes. And I also do different other things, like not every day, but I'll do different electrolyte enemas, ozone, insufflations, coffee enemas, things like that. But I don't have to do them every day anymore because my body's so cleaned out and so energized. But that's how I love to start the day every day with that 1 liter. That it just sets my day in order.
Yeah.
And the body loves it because it brings the hydration levels way up. And you just spent 7 or 8 hours breathing out a lot of moisture when you're breathing. And so you're replacing that. That's the first thing. The next thing is some movement. You want to get into some movement. And then you just start your day with good quality food. I like to have protein within an hour and a half of being awake. And then that again sets the day. And then just add in. I keep adding in all these different, supplemental things that we manufacture. And I go through the day with that. I make sure I eat low glycemic carbs if I have any carbs at all the good healthy proteins and fats. Definitely into the, obviously things that are going to be green, like the ocean's alive, those things that you need to have, all the molecular nutrients throughout the day. But I don't eat a lot of food because my body just doesn't require it or want it.
Well, I
And
found that you don't. The healthier you get, the less you want to eat anyway.
that's right. But you want to make sure you're fueled up.
Yeah,
There's
but I've
no
lost I've lost
starving.
10 kilograms in the last 3 months, and it's going beautifully down. And the further I go into it, the less I actually want to eat.
Right. That's right. Because
Yeah,
all the cravings for the carbs goes away.
yeah, it's brilliant.
And making sure here's the must-haves. Iodine 100%.
Hmm.
I do a capful in 4 ounces of water once a day on an empty stomach. And I used to do Solaris right after while I was doing all the detoxing. I would do Solaris within 20 minutes. And then I realized that eventually my body was so cleaned out. I love the Solaris, just one dropper full in a little bit of water. I do it in half an ounce of water before I go to bed. And I shoot that back and wash it down with about 3 or 4 ounces of water. That way I don't get that sensation of the numbing that the super concentrated rosemary, clove, and thyme does. What that does, it immediately puts you into parasympathetic within minutes, and you get much higher quality sleep. And then that also goes in to support your body's detoxification while you're sleeping. It is amazing. And so that's like the day. That's the last thing in the day is that daily ritual. Things like the black cumin seed oil that you mentioned, that goes just after one of the meals. and it's only a teaspoon. If a person has major health issues, they can do 1 teaspoon 3 times a day after each time they eat, and swish it for dental and gargle in the back of the throat for good eyes, ears, nose, throat health. But getting into the stomach is a whole body tonic, and it goes and just dissolves all that gunk and glue that people have accumulated in their body in their lifetime before they found out how to eat properly.
Well, that's one of the
And
things you taught me with the black seed oil, is to lean forward, flush your teeth, and then swallow it, unlike coconut oil, which you spit out, because it's still
right,
working inside you. And I love that. I don't know where that quote came from. Black seed oil cures everything except death, but it's incredible. Yours it's amazing.
yeah. Well, I always say, well, it actually cures death. No, but anyway, and then I put the caveat. I say it actually cures nothing, because the word to think that something is going to cure something is
Yeah,
not
so
correct. But what it does is it supports your body's natural ability to heal itself, which is what your body's always looking for support on. So it's a real big support in that way. And it's just one of those things that has such a broad spectrum that just once a day is the best insurance policy ever to make sure you have good functioning organs, because it gets all the garbage and stuff moved out over time. I've had people who had severe gut problems, like of all different types. And some of them, it took up to 6 months for all those symptoms to disappear. And then they were gone. They would get hold of me and go, the only thing they added was the black cumin seed oil. Like, add everything else. Well, I wanted to see what works. Okay, well, that's great too. But we already know that everything works together in synergy. So yeah, that's how it goes.
yeah,
But it's phenomenal. These are the must-haves. And of course, the Ease Magnesium to the skin. There are certain companies that have very good quality ingestible magnesiums that are bioavailable. And the Ease Magnesium transdermally pairs beautifully, or it just goes in by itself without even having to take an oral. But they are both complementary. The cool thing is you get it geographically immediately where your body wants it, going into your skin. So from your neck all the way down to the bottom of your feet, that's a once a day thing, generally before you go to sleep. You can also do it in the morning because it sets your day for a good, calm, clear, energized day.
yeah,
But that's a super affordable product, as they all are, when it
yeah.
comes down to investing in yourself.
And if I don't have magnesium before bed, I can't go without it anymore. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna. We could talk as usual for hours, but my time is up. It's been great to catch up with you again, and thank you for great that you put all this stuff in the masterclasses. The links near the video, guys. You can't get better advice than Ian. Yeah, and when are we going to see you again? What have you got coming up?
Well, I'm just I'm here in Canada for another couple of weeks. I got a pretty intense schedule. I'm going to be up at the island for as much time as I can between September and October to create the content to really focus in. That's what I like, these times away from the hectic world. But yeah, I mean, I'm wide open to come and do as many interviews as we could do. I mean, I love your whole format. I love the work you do, and I think you're a profoundly effective person because you're so honest and real. You're not some high and mighty type personality that thinks
Yeah,
you're above everybody.
I,
You're
I
right
take
down on the ground with us.
I take that in the way that you meant it.
For
You're
sure.
not some perfectly good looking perfect but it's true. It's true though, isn't it? I mean, those days are gone. Those
Right.
days are looking at the perfect 6'4" guy with the six pack. They just depressed me, and you don't want. I don't want to be that idiot anyway. I just want to be living the best possible life that I can, and starts with health. And the other great thing, and we should do a show about this as a separate subject, but the healthier your cells are and your body works, the more spiritual your life becomes as well. And
Mhm.
I know I've been saying I'm going to come to Canada, but I'm going to come to Canada. I want to see that island soon. So we'll talk about that separately, because I'd like to make a film about coming there and do it properly, if you're up for that.
Mhm. Oh, I'd love that. I mean, hey, September is wide open.
Yeah, I've got pretty busy September, but late September is possible.
Yeah. All right. Let's plan it out.
Yeah, I really, really want to do that, and you've already been here, so I really, you know what it's been like. But amazing to see you again. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for watching. Big thanks to Ian Clark.